watched the new The Smurfs trailer and thought it looked like a good movie, an excellent movie. Until...
Influencer.
You're not alone, my friend. Plenty of people with a brain noticed it too. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Because, oh god, a lot of us were excited for this new Smurfs movie. But there are quite a few things about it that are seriously making me get gangrene. First, let's start with the ugly duckling of the trailer, the Influencer Smurf. What? What the hell is this thing? I think even Jesus Christ wouldn't have allowed this abomination to ever happen. But well, if it happened in the real world, then I guess it's possible in a world full of magic and enchantments. And sure, some of you think I'm overreacting, but I bet a lot of people will agree that just those 5 seconds of screen time were enough to make us forget everything else in the trailer and only remember him for the monumental cringe he caused. An Influencer Smurf? Not only did they give him a YouTube channel, but they even left it in his name. And talking about his YouTube channel, what videos is he making? 24 hours inside Gargamel's house. I almost died. I bought all the berries in the village. Everyone is pissed at me. Proposing to Smurfette goes wrong. Honestly, why? And with just this character, my expectations for the movie crashed through the floor. What are we gonna see next? Crypto Smurf selling NFTs? Podcast Smurf? AI Smurf? ASMR Smurf? I can already imagine the other Smurfs trying to solve some big problem, like Papa Smurf's house burning down, and everyone is trying to save him and avoid he dies burnt in flames, while the Influencer Smurf is busy recording a TikTok dance instead of helping. Or when a Smurf gets run over in the village, and instead of helping, he'll just go live to farm views and reactions. Though, speaking of that, there's one detail about this character that I actually found kind of sad. Think about it. How does an Influencer Smurf even work in their world? Weren't these creatures supposed to be medieval, existing long before the internet? How many Smurfs are there for this guy to even have an audience? Well, at least we have an answer to that last question. None. This seems to be the only Smurf living in a digital world, because if you pay attention to his Instagram posts, he doesn't even have a single like in any of them. Also, I really hope they don't include some super cliché plot where Papa Smurf disapproves of Influencer Smurf's activities at first, but by the end, he's making TikToks himself like one of those cringy parents we see nowadays. That would be disappointing. But let's talk about another thing that disappointed a lot of people regarding the plot. Smurfette being the protagonist again. Why did they have to pick her again? Is it because she has an OnlyFans now? But seriously, many of us would have preferred a different Smurf as a lead this time. If they really wanted to give us something new and modern, why the hell didn't just make a completely new Smurfs movie with new characters? Honestly, a sequel featuring the Smurfs kids would have been a better idea. Imagine little blue creatures growing up in an era where iPads exist, caring more about being influencers than saving Papa Smurf. If they had gone that route, I bet all that would be left of Papa Smurf would be a memorial in his honor. Now, I know some people might actually like that Smurfette is leading all these useless blue creatures, but what's the logic behind this decision? Are the rest of the Smurfs so incompetent that none of them can take charge of a mission to rescue Papa Smurf? And don't get me wrong, I'm not against Smurfette, but shouldn't the male Smurfs be the ones leading? Smurfette is just a poor girl who should be protected by all the little Smurf men in the village. We are talking about medieval times. But instead, they're sending her on a nearly impossible rescue mission, while the other Smurfs are making TikToks? Well, I guess we finally figure out why female Smurfs were extinct. Here it was the opposite situation, and they kept sending them off to war. I know what people are gonna say. There's only one Smurfette in the Smurfs' history, because Gargamel created her. But if they really wanted to innovate, they could have found a way to include more female Smurfs in this movie. Also, what happened to the Smurf girls from the Lost Village? Did they just exist for that movie and then disappear? Maybe they kept Smurfette as the lead because they saw how well Disney did with Disgust, since a bunch of weirdos became simps for her. Will the same happen with Smurfette? We'll just have to wait and see how people react. But I'm pretty sure the only new thing about this movie will be the pose they make on the poster. Just look at this nonsense! Do you really think there was effort behind it? At the very least, let's hope Dopey Smurf doesn't fall in love with the human again, because that was so off. Another important thing is how the movie will handle humor and jokes. Let's hope they don't end up being as cringy as the Influencer Smurf himself, because if he's the main comedic element, then I'm pretty sure this new Smurfs movie isn't for everyone. I can't imagine sitting in a theater watching Influencer Smurf make a fool of himself just to gain one follower. Or what? Is he gonna start promoting his blue content on Instagram too? That's the only thing missing at this point. Now let's focus on the movie style. It seems like they're going for a semi-live action look, which would be a terrible fit. And please, for the love of God, let's hope it's not one of those typical live-action movies where the Smurfs end up in New York interacting with humans. We've seen that way too many times. And speaking of that, aren't we all tired of the Smurfs always ending up in New York? In the last two movies, when they entered the human world, it was always New York. But we do have some good news, friends. This time, they finally discovered that Paris exists, and we'll probably get several scenes set in the streets of France. As for the animation, we can rest easy. It doesn't seem like humans will be a major focus. Another good sign is that they animated Gargamel and his brother Radzamel, and even a new human character in the same style. Hopefully, all the scenes set in France are just for comedic moments, like the one where a group of dogs try to eat the Smurfs. Though honestly, I'm not sure what would be worse, seeing another live-action Smurfs movie or watching the Influencer Smurf dance. Another thing, wouldn't it have been better if Vanity Smurf had been the one to be an influencer? Did they not think about that? But well, if they do go the live-action route, at least make it like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and actually add something good. At the end of the day, I hope I'm wrong. Maybe this movie will surprise us. Maybe Influencer Smurf will be the funniest character ever. Maybe they won't shove it in a bunch of cringy internet references that will age like milk. But based on what we've seen so far, yeah, I'm not holding my breath. But what do you think about this new movie? Does it meet your expectations? Or is it just another disaster that everyone will forget about? Don't forget to share your opinions in the comments.